when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. It is Monday, April 6th. Come on in, we got a lot to discuss. Happy belated Easter. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel.
Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
beautiful bitches. It is nice to see you guys this beautiful Monday morning. Many of you guys have to get up and go to work, so this is the only time you guys get to have a little bit of bebopping and having a little bit of fun, as crazy as that sounds. But I'm Bullhorn Betty. We've been covering the case of Savannah Guthrie, her mother, Nancy Guthrie, and the disappearance or her being ripped out of her home in the middle of the night and out of her bed. Now, Savannah Guthrie is returning to work today. And many people kind of feel some type of way about her returning to work. I'm not going to really judge, those that can go back to work, go back to work. Many of our families are, when they go through something like this, they're unemployable, However, she has a good role model. Her mother also had a situation very young where her father died and her mom had to pick up the pieces and carry on. And so her mom didn't have an opportunity to have a nervous breakdown or, stop. She just had to figure it out, mourn, grieve, and dust herself off and still keep going somehow. And so, that's basically what Savannah, in my opinion, is trying to do. But there's still a lot of criticism because this is awfully soon after such a tragedy to be going back to work. But sometimes people need that structure in order to, get their life back together. They just can't fall apart. We have to remember that Savannah has, young kids, and she still has to be there for her children. And this has got to be very difficult for the family. Many people have been bouncing back and forth of who could have done this and why. I still feel that this is so personal. And there were some things that I did notice, with some of the review that I was doing yesterday on the case. And there was something that stuck out to me about the assailant. And it was after he picked up the brush, pulled the brush out. He knew there was a step there. He was prepared without flashing his light to step. And I thought, I never looked at it like that. I never looked at that, but for whatever reason, yesterday it caught my attention. He stepped up. He stepped up at a house that, yeah, he's been there before and he's looked at before, but that was such a what do we want to call it? They knew that the step was there. Yes, the step is there, but they acted like they've stepped over that step many times. Like they knew it was there. So I found that kind of interesting, and I'll show you guys that closer to the end of the show of specifically exactly what I'm talking about. But until then, good morning, everybody. We've got 96 wide awake individuals in this chat on a Monday morning. That is insane. I hope you all had a great Easter. I decided I was going to go over to my best friend's house, and my mom invited me over, and Delilah and I decided to end up staying home and having just a quiet day watching TV and kind of enjoying our day off. And I don't get very many days off. And yesterday I took a full day off. I didn't do anything. I didn't come live. I didn't really post that much. I said to the people that wrote, Happy Easter to me, I responded Happy Easter back to them. And it was just a nice, relaxing day yesterday for me. I didn't have to worry about being around, didn't have to worry about dolling up, didn't have to worry about cooking all day. I ended up making some, if you guys don't know, I've been working on a fried chicken dip, we're going to be packaging. I'm going to be sending some stuff out, some samples out to all of you guys, the ones that want it. But I've been working on cause I'm from the South and what better, everybody's got coffee and, even though we're the coffee club and probably maybe I will do a brand of coffee. I don't know. But fried chicken, that's kind of a staple. I'm a chicken head. I don't understand why I would never do a fried chicken coating, but I'm working on a fried chicken coating. So once I get it done, then we'll figure out what we're going to call it and we're going to label it. I'm just doing a traditional Southern fried chicken. And then of course we'll do maybe something that's with a little more heat, but I have to develop that. And so, But you guys will get some. You guys will have. I will be sending some samplers out to people to see what they think and get their opinion before we end up starting to bag it and whatever. But that's what I'm working on right now. And so yesterday I ate a lot of fried chicken. It's not necessarily the best for my health. But when you're developing something, you got to fry a lot of shit, okay? So I was a fry queen yesterday, okay? I should have been at Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A's not open on Easter. So there you have it. It's nice to see you all. Okay, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Sonia. A few people in our chat should have gotten some care packages. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Hello. Miss Melanie says, happy Monday, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat. I hope everyone had a great Easter. Much love to you, BHB. Everyone here is awesome. Love to everyone. Aw, you guys make this channel. I will tell you guys that because I'm sitting here yapping. You guys are the ones that are in there communicating with each other and being friends and all that stuff. I mean, I get to see you guys. Occasionally we get to chit chat, but for the most part, you guys are like a small little family here. So it's nice to see that. I love that. Handsome man, it's nice to see you. Good morning. You're up awfully early. Is it still Sunday there or Monday? I guess he's on the other side of the globe. It is officially Monday morning. But handsome man, it's nice to see you. Libby, good morning. Deb, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Peggy up in the chat. It's nice to see you. Let them 66. Thank you so much. Good gracious. Thank you so much. Been a member for 15 months. We appreciate all your love and support. Thank you so very much for that. Thank you. And I don't think we clapped for Melanie. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, guys. We appreciate you. Lisa Ann, it's nice to see you. Kathleen, good morning. Freeside, hey, you're up awfully early. Well, happy belated Easter to you, love. I hope you're doing well. Sonia, Jewel, it's nice to see you. Deanna, Amber, good morning. Oma, it's nice to see you. Ortiz, good morning. It's nice to see you as well. Nanny Goat, hello, beautiful. It's nice to see you. Good morning. I was watching Grizzy True Crime for a few minutes. Letitia Stout got her conviction overturned. Yes, she did. We did talk about that. My mods and I, we are so upset over this. We are absolutely devastated that she gets but damn. It's like, damn, like this is ridiculous. Like why she got her new trial is so stupid. And it's something that should have been well known. So if you guys don't know what happened, or you don't even know this case, Ganon Stauch, he was how old was he? Like 12, 13. Let me pull some information. Ganon was, but the thing was his father was in the military and he ended up meeting Letitia. They got married. Letitia was the one staying home with his son while he was being shipped all over the world or wherever the hell he was going, but he wasn't home with the family. And of course, Letitia and Ganon weren't getting along. Well, she ended up pew-pewing him, stabbing him, and zipping up his body in a suitcase and leaving it there. So when she reported him missing, the cops came through the house, everything like that. And he's literally sitting in a suitcase in the hall closet, deceased. And so then she ends up leaving the house. Her husband and her get into it. Obviously he knew that there was a lot of problems and a lot of turmoil between her and his son. And he knows his son would have never ran away. So he started turning his focus on her. What did you do to my son? And so she packed up her vehicle and left and went to Florida, where they ended up finding the suitcase near Disney World here in my state, where, of Ganon. And so she was ultimately charged. She was brought back to Colorado. She went through the processes. She was convicted. There was also some turmoil because one of the content creators got a hold of the actual film, autopsy films and stuff like that of Ganon's body, his physical body. And they went on Patreon and started discussing, and it was just, listen, I know people want a lot of sensitivity and stuff like that, and I try to be as sensitive as possible. But I'm a very analytical person, so I like to see things. And as disgusting as that sounds, I don't understand things. I mean, I'm not a verbal person. I'm a kinesthetic person, or whatever that word is. I have to see. I have to see, feel, and touch something. So in order for my brain to really process, I have to analyze. That means I have to look. I have to see where the stab wounds are, where they went in, how they went in. Those type of things. That's just the way my brain works. It's not to be disrespectful to families or anything like that. And I know the whole world, it was too new. We can watch and look at cases that are, 40 and 50 years old to get those determinations. But she was putting this stuff up and discussing these things, although she blurred some stuff out. But she was discussing these things, in a very analytical manner, and she tried to keep it off, but she still got a lot of backlash because of it. And of course, laws were made because of that as well, further pushing the public out of these. Listen, I'm sorry, I'm anti-push public out. Why? Because whenever you push the public out and you get these laws, guess what happens? It breeds corruption. It starts breeding people being able to get away with stuff under the radar, because nobody's going to ever get these photos. Nobody's ever going to see these mistakes. Nobody's ever going to be challenging. Even the stuff that they did in Colorado, in Idaho, related to Kaylee Gonzalez, I totally disagree with. Yeah, they don't want their family's photos out there, but what happens when there's corruption? What happens when law enforcement isn't doing right by the victim? What happens when they're covering up a crime? Then what? Then what? What about the next victim? And that's what I look at, because we're the only way to keep our government accountable. And every time you remove our ability to keep government accountable, there is a backlash on the other side of it. Yeah, you feel like you're empowered because, yeah, Kaylee's video photos are not going to be released. But what about the next person where they're like an Ellen Greenberg? What about them? Where you got a law enforcement body saying that she committed suicide. And it's not, it's a homicide. And now the federal government has to come in and clean up the mess because the local officials wanted to lie because they didn't want to do their damn job. What about that? How are we going to be going against that? So, I think that this is bad. And it kind of, I understand that Letitia is getting a new trial. I totally disagree with that. But the reason was so stupid. The person on there said they were related to the DA's office, somebody in the DA's office. They should have automatically been removed from that trial. They answered correctly. They told the truth, and they were not immediately removed from the jury pool. And that was a critical mistake. That's what got her a new trial. You cannot have somebody related to the prosecution's office, or the defense office on a jury. You just can't have that. And the person did acknowledge that they were related to somebody in the prosecution's office. So again, that is almost automatically retried, right? That was a jury that's a juror that deliberated, that has a direct connect to the prosecutors. You can't have that. You can't have that. So that's why she got a new trial. And then, of course, having to go through all of this again because, again, Ganon Stauch's autopsy photos and crime scene photos, they're out there in the public. And so Idaho made a new law, or excuse me, Colorado made a new law for them not to be able to distribute those photos. And I'm going to say there's going to be a double-edged sword. I do not trust the government. And every time somebody has a heart on their sleeve and doesn't want to see this, you're ruining the opportunity to help the next victim, because the next victim might not be as lucky as the victim that you're fighting to keep behind, lock and key. The next one might be where we literally have to take on a government and we can't even get the proof to take on the government. So I think it's totally unnecessary. I hope people start challenging this with the United States Supreme Court. I think it needs to start going there, because the people, I'm sorry, I've got to push back on this. We have a right to know, and we have a right to keep our government accountable, as tacky or as heartbreaking as that might be. That is our job here. And I understand there needs to be some laws, maybe not publicizing these things for the world, right? Maybe that needs to be the law, not being able to generate or publicize these images. That might need to be the law. But refusing to give the public the images when they have a reason to have those images, such as challenging the government on their stance, like an Ellen Greenberg, right? Who's going to be able to challenge that when we can't even get photos to an attorney or a professional to look at and to get profession. I just disagree with it in part. I don't totally disagree with it because I know that these are people's families, and I'm looking at it as from a different angle. And I understand that this is something that people just can't handle. They can't handle having this stuff, through, and I understand that. So maybe it needs to be preventing the publication of such material versus receiving such material. I think the failure to produce the material is a violation of law, a violation of federal law. I mean, this is our investigations. This is our taxpayer money. We have to have sensitivity, but I think the publication of those really needs to be affected, not the distribution. Just my personal opinion. So it's nice to see you dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches, and I don't expect my audience to totally agree or disagree with me. I know that everybody has their own opinion about this. I'm just a different beast. I don't expect my audience to have the same palette as I do, right? But I'm also trying to explain this stuff. Some of the stuff that I had to watch through Kylie Rodney to explain drowning and stuff like that was pretty rough on me to watch, but you've got to have the knowledge. How can you explain things without the knowledge? And I'm sorry, but unfortunately, if we hide every element of crime, we'll never know what to look for. We have to look at the stuff. We have to be educated. All of us do. Most of us do. Deanna, YouTuber, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Joe, it's nice to see you. You are not blocked. It makes me wonder, should we block you? Are you a troll? Is this one of your troll accounts? No, I'm just joking. Candy, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Deb, good morning. Freeside, I think I said hi to you, but if I didn't, good morning to you as well. Oops, this just popped up. Danielle, who else do we have? Sidetrack, it's nice to see you. I said hi to Ortiz. Faye, good morning. Pat, good morning. It's nice to see you. The Good Gypsy, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning to you as well. I think I said hi to Lisa, Danielle, Candy. I think we got you. Mama, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Arizona Raven, good morning, love. I hope you are doing well this beautiful morning. Deb, Jewel, I said hi to you. Oh, baby love, good morning. It's nice to see you, love. Oma, I think I said hi to you. Who else? Am I missing anybody? Am I missing? Sally, good morning. It's nice to see you. Mama Bear of 10. Well, good morning, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, good morning. Pamela, it's nice to see you. Did your dog get to go treat hunting? I throw them at her. She finds them and eats them. That's about as much hunting as she does. She went hunting for her toys. She tears up her toys. It's so funny when I'm out in the living room. I don't know what she's thinking, but she must be like wanting this one toy, and I don't know which toy it is, but she just wants this one toy, and she goes into this, like, I got these little, like, I don't know. They're like little things that she can go inside, and curl up if she wanted to, but she never goes inside to curl up, so I use it to store her toys. And she'll take it and she'll be looking for something. She'll just get her nose in there and just start pulling everything out of it. Just looking. I don't know if she ever finds what she's looking for, but she's looking for something. She's looking for a specific toy. I can tell you that. Yeah, we had a good day yesterday. We had a good day. She got to play ball. She got to hang out. She was actually about as lazy as I was yesterday. I will tell you that. William, good morning. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Kentucky. Oops, I just jumped up. Sorry, I missed a lot of people. Dida, it's nice to see you. Who else do I just realized that Betty, it's nice to see you. Phil from across the pond, DLL, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Riley Rue, good morning. Good morning. I think we got everybody. If I did miss you, I am super sorry about that. So our major talking points today is, one, is it too soon for Savannah to be going back to the Today Show? Many people are mixed on this topic because her mom hasn't been found. There's been little effort from the family to really help. People are out there, boots on the ground, sign waving, flag waving, searching, going out in the desert. There's very little law enforcement out there helping. There's very little targeted search for law enforcement doing. We don't see any, group or organization or nonprofit working directly with the family. We haven't heard of a private investigator or anything of that nature specifically working with the family. So many people are getting a lot of mixed messages, from this family, a very well-to-do family that, we would think that more resources would be thrown at this, that, all stops would be pulled out, that there would be, teams out there, searching that desert. But I kind of understand why there may not be, because we know that she was removed from that location. I think that is the main point, is that she was removed from that location. And many experts believe she's on the outside. Listen, I think she's within 10 miles of her home. That's where I believe she's at. Within 10 miles of her home, I think she's there. And that's within, a 20-minute radius from around her home. That's where statistically she should be found, statistically. And that's taking into a lot of things into a consideration, such as this being somebody she knew. It comes down to the man stepping up. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to start out with that. Let me get the FBI stuff coming here. But anyway, Savannah is returning to the Today Show today. After months away, sharing raw emotion while Pima County Sheriff's Department faces heat over the lead investigator's lack of homicide experience, among other things. Cadaver dogs are on hold. What about the gloves with the DNA? Are they still being tested? What are the results of those? We know one came back, but there were 16 gloves. What say you? And what about that couple that ended up calling the 911 to get these 2 gloves that appear to be around blood, one full set, right there about a mile away from Nancy's home? We never heard any more about that. And of course, the family reward of $1 million sits untouched. Is this drifting to a no-body homicide territory, which we all believe it is? So why haven't they changed the classification of this case? We're going to be unpacking all of that into today's segment this morning, and we may end up opening up the phone lines. So, obviously Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old grandmother, ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night. She's got health issues. She needs daily medication. And she was last seen by her son-in-law when he dropped her off around 9:45, close to 10 o'clock on January 31st, hours before a masked gunman was seen on their door camera. And of course, that was after a family dinner at her daughter Annie's house. They get a call from the church. The family goes and checks on her February 1st. Something isn't right. Everything looks pristine. The back doors and the gate is propped open. There's a blood trail at the front, and they knew something was wrong. Upon calling law enforcement came out there and wanted to wrap this up as a woman that just simply wandered off, woke up in the middle of the night, was dazed and confused, and just left her house and never returned again. That's what Pima County, that's the bright minds of Pima County, and their lack of leadership and lack of forethought and lack of being able just to have freaking common sense. Because I still can't for the life of me figure out how they could assume that this lady wandered off with those details. And of course, the most problematic part of this all, a freaking front door Ring camera from Nest ripped off its bracket and nowhere in the house, just gone. And they thought this lady just walked off from her home. It is the most insane thing I've ever heard. And then, of course, we hear from Chris Nanos, this is a crime. We have a crime scene. This is a crime scene. Well, no shit, Shirley. And then states that she was taken against her will. A midnight abduction. FBI footage shows that masked gunman, no forced entry, but blood drops found early on. What does all of this mean? This means, you know what this means to me? Very scary. I've told you and maintained from the beginning, I feel like this is a hit. I don't feel like she went out of that house alive. I believe she was dying. And people are trying to say that that medium velocity or high velocity spatter out front is her coughing or sneezing. I believe it's something else. But it could be. You know, I'm not an expert. I don't look at blood spatter every single day of our life. We learn every day. Oh, Mama gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Dida. It is Dida me that. Oh, nice that. Dida. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Because I'm a love machine. Ow! What about the street camera? They're not recording them. You got to remember the criminals out here in Arizona, specifically in this area, have dictated to the law-abiding citizens that they will not be tracked, that they are planning on committing crimes there, and they want the cameras turned off so their government can't track them. So the government said, okay, criminals, we're going to do that for you. We're going to put our law-abiding citizens in danger so we don't record you, because we want to make sure that you can do your crimes in peace and quiet without intrusion from law enforcement. That's what law enforcement out there in Pima County has done for the beautiful folks that they represent. They put them in danger each and every day. And they're just fine doing it, too. They're absolutely fine doing it. And they think they're doing something special. I'm sorry, folks. These laws are putting you in danger. You don't have to like me. You don't have to believe anything I say. And that's fine. Stick your head in the ground and keep living the way you're living. And when it comes knocking on your door and you pop your head out of your butt and say, oh my gosh, Betty's right. We're living in danger. Well, no shit, Shirley. What do you think happens when you put a big spotlight like Desert Law on TV and say, hey, look what we do out here in Pima County. We let all of our rich people sit out here without any protection whatsoever. So come one, come all. And guess what, criminals? We don't even record you. So come on out here, kill one of our citizens, rob them, do whatever you need to do to them. Don't worry, you'll get a free pass out of the local jail here, courtesy of Chris Nanos. Courtesy of Chris Nanos. Aren't you guys so proud? Aren't you guys so proud? I mean, I gotta say, if I was a criminal, I would love living there. I would love living there. But I'm not a criminal. I used to be. Not a big one. I used to get in a lot of fights, do stupid shit. You know, stupid 20-year-old shit, right? But now we're far past that. And I'm so happy to live in Florida. You know why? Because we don't have stupid laws. Like we do, kind of, sort of. Some here, some there. But not about this important stuff. And we know how to put lights up outside. Like I got a big old light that the government pays for right outside of my bedroom door. It's lovely. It's lovely. And then, you know what happens? I got these beautiful cameras around the house, and they pick up perfect images with all that lights. It's perfect. It's perfect. If somebody drives past my house, guess what? I've got license plate. Perfect. I could probably zoom in and see the person driving the car at night. That's how wonderful it is. Thank you, the state of Florida. Thank you, the state of Florida. So I like where I kind of live, you know. We don't put up with the BS, you know, when things get a little tough. And not only that, even when they do stuff like to try to spank me and, you know, put me in like this whole thing with this, you know, protesting out in front. I'll still go protest. I'll go stand in front of somebody's freaking house right today in the state of Florida and still protest. There ain't going to be a damn thing any officer or law enforcement's going to do. You know why? Because even with that ridiculous law that they put on the books, I've already worked around it. All I know is I just got to move into one little oval. If I just keep it an oval, they can't touch me. Just remember that. An oval. Just keep it an oval. They can't touch me. They're not going to touch me. They're not going to touch me. And if I have to go to the pokey, not the first rodeo, right? I mean, there is that. I'm just saying. Well-versed in politics. So we also have the glove 2 miles away that came back to a restaurant worker, which is kind of interesting because these people were at a restaurant. El Charro. Was that glove from an El Charro restaurant or from another local restaurant? And how far away was this local restaurant from someplace that Miss Nancy Guthrie goes to? I don't anticipate Miss Nancy Guthrie goes out very often to go eat. She seems like a lady that probably cooks at home, and the family probably cooks at home, much like many of us. I mean, very rarely do I go out to eat unless I'm just, I don't know, just having a wild hair at my butt. Why? Because I like my cooking. Okay. And it cost me an arm and a leg to have cooking, my flavor of cooking in this county. I have, I like the food that I eat, but if I went to a restaurant, I'd break the bank. Okay. Let's put it like that. Just put it like that. And I've been on a fried chicken. If you guys don't know, if you guys are just coming in, I'm creating a fried chicken blend. A fried chicken blend. You guys are gonna like it. You guys are gonna like it. I've been working on it for months. Getting it perfect. Getting it perfect. So I'll be sending some of those test samples out whenever we get the last bit of the formula worked out. What about A&T cameras at their house? Does it show Miss Nancy leaving, walking there? I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. We don't have that information, Faye, but they were cleared. So I have to think that all of these things went into clearing that family. They looked at those cameras. They saw their movements. They know exactly where they were. I don't see anybody jumping to you're cleared, even under pressure. I mean, because you got to think that Chris Nanos is also under pressure for Carlos and Luke, and he has not cleared them yet. And he's under legal pressure from them. But I think he knows he's on the right side of that because they had search warrants. They had the courts that granted them access. So, it's unless they did something wrong or lied or something like that. Hey, Hev, Elisa, good morning. It's nice to see you. Come on in. Nana Rocks, it's nice to see you. Oh, 92 guys. We have 278 people in chat. Would you guys do me a favor and hit that like button? Also, if you've never subscribed to the Bullhorn Betty channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. We go over a lot of different topics. We cover true crime. We're going to be rolling out some other updated information on other cases that we have covered that now have some updates on them. JonBenet Ramsey, still a 30-year-old cold case. We just heard from her father, John, again. The deception detective just is like, he absolutely thinks his whole family is corrupted, and very well maybe. I mean, 30-year-old cold case, with our statistics this day and age, we know even somebody with JonBenet Ramsey knew her. Whoever did this to her was known to her. Again, comes in at night, low risk. That means the person that came in knows their routines. So you're talking about, and no matter how you look, even at the JonBenet Ramsey case, all of the information we've had since her case has gone on and all the statistics we have done, we know that somebody that hurt her knew her and knew her well. So is it a family friend, which is possible? I don't want to put it back past, I'm sorry. The Whites acted really weird. The husband half, the one that gave her the bike, the one that was at their child's party, the one that got drunk, that called 911 just days before this abduction, that right there, it's that right there that really makes me look at the Whites, because somebody called 911 from their home. And I truly believe somebody called 911 from their home to see how long it took for law enforcement to get there. It's a way of casing the joint in a sense, because you need to find out how long is it going to take law enforcement. If things go south, how long do you have to get out of there? And so it's that action that happened days before JonBenet Ramsey disappeared, that are, ended up disappearing. They found her in her boiler room, dead. That has always made me. Now, I know that I've been researching this case, and I didn't think where it was going to lead me. But even the JonBenet Ramsey case, it leads me at, I'm starting to see why everybody thought Burke was responsible for this crime. And so I'm kind of working through that, and have been working through that for some time before I finish it. But anyways, let's get back on Nancy Guthrie's case. Let's get back here. So let's talk about the evidence. We had the glove 2 miles away, one DNA to an innocent restaurant worker from what we're hearing near the home. Others were sent to the Florida lab. We know about an unidentified DNA in the house. We know about the back doors propped open. And what are you guys thinking about this inside job theory? There are surveillance gaps suggesting pre-scouting. Why would somebody need to pre-scout if they are an insider? That's going to be a question that I have. And of course, the ransom note, was it sent directly to the family, or did law enforcement pull it from the news organizations that they thought was legitimate and take it to the family? This is very important for me, because if no letter ever went to the family, it only went to these news organizations. This doesn't make any damn sense, because again, it came so many days after she left, or she was removed from that home, she was targeted, that it just doesn't make sense for me, because in my mind, she would have been deceased by the time the first ransom note came in. So, this is screaming targeted. Her mobility issues means no solo wandering off, which we've all known for some time. And of course, having the multiple notes surface and the family posting videos and pleading related to payment, and some feel real videos from the family about, or speaking to the ransom person and not getting any response back. It's just no follow through. It's just, it seems so wonky being out there by itself that it makes no sense. I don't know if it's a professional. I mean, yeah, professional criminal, professional thief, maybe professional criminal. Yes. But a professional that does this, I'm not seeing that, but the person did seem very comfortable. One of the most identified issues for me is how comfortable this person felt moving around at night, just moving around at night. So let's go ahead and start getting into some of my presentation materials for this morning so we can further discuss. This is related to Savannah going back to work. I obviously, to each their own. People need to have their stability. And sometimes stability for people is work. I know that when my mom was going through her divorce with my father, she filled her time up with us girls, but she also ended up getting like 2 jobs. And I think part of that was to obviously pay for us girls, right? But I think a part of that was just so she could work, just to keep her mind off of what was going on in her life. And sometimes that's what it takes, just faking it until you make it. And is that what we're dealing with here with Savannah Guthrie? Is it just that she needs to get back to work because she just feels so wonky and unstable without her job? We don't know what that is for her. Who left the card on the door from CPS? Who called? Rue, we did have that. I did see the image. She was recorded. We know what date she went there. It wasn't before Nancy disappeared. It was definitely after. And I think what had happened, from my understanding, according to what I remember, now don't hold my feet to the fire. This is based upon what Brian Enton said months ago when he was first there, and he talked about this social worker and dropping off that card. From his understanding, because of this missing adult, one of her neighbors called a phone number, and it triggered. That's what I heard. A neighbor called. It triggered. I'm hearing in other reports that because she's missing, it automatically triggered this social worker to come out. But that's not what I originally heard. What I originally heard is one of the neighbors, when they found out she was missing, called the service to see if they could help in any way. And that's what it was about. And then they came out, stuck the card on the door in case Nancy returned home and wanted some counseling or wanted to speak to them about anything. So that's my original understanding of that whole card and the adult services that came out to her house. So other than that, I don't know what other rumors are going about with it. I'm sure there are rumors about it. I've heard that somebody said that she was being abused and that card was there before. No, I know for a fact that Brian Enton specifically stated that he saw the lady walk up to the door and put that card there. So they knew that. And I don't know who's spreading around other information, but either way, whatever, to each their own. That's my understanding of it. So I don't think that card on the house is much of a mountain as many people are making it.
To the Today Show starting tomorrow after a harrowing investigation into the disappearance of her mother, 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who is yet to be found after more than 2 months now. In a sit-down interview, Savannah opened up about what's giving her hope and purpose right now.
It's hard to imagine doing it because it's such...
Which is pretty weird. Before we get into her statement that she made on the Today Show, which we all watched, we kind of, dissected here on the Bullhorn Betty channel when she made those statements. It was broke down into 4 parts. The 4th part was an extended or editor's cut version, which was an extended version. I watched part 3. I haven't watched part 4, the extended cut, so I'll be watching that probably today sometime. But either way, she was a lot more hopeful. I'm feeling like her latest cryptic message, I feel like might be a little more resentful in part. So she's struggling, in my opinion. We're starting to see her publicly struggle with her faith, right? And you got to go through the processes of grieving, and you kind of understand why she's going through grief. And if you look at the stages of grief, you can almost identify where in her grief process she is. Many people don't want to believe it. Many people barter with God. Many people, there's just a lot that goes into it. And we're watching her process this in real time. And it's hard because she's such a public person that it's hard to keep those. So I'm very curious on how she's going to do today on the Today Show. They should be like rolling right now, if I'm not mistaken. So very interesting stuff. I guess we'll find out how her first day was later this afternoon when we come back.
Such a place of joy and lightness, and how I can't come back and try to be something that I'm not. But I can't not come back because it's my family. I think it's part of my purpose right now. I want to smile. And when I do, it will be real. And my joy will be my protest.
News Nation spoke earlier with News Nation contributor and executive producer of The Megyn Kelly Show, Steve Krakauer, to discuss Guthrie's return to TV.
It's so rare these days to see such a strong and powerful display of emotion like Savannah Guthrie there really has been put through. It's not just losing her mom. To be honest, we don't technically know that her mom is even gone, although I think in that interview she spoke often of believing that she's with God.
Yeah, I mean, the family knows that she cannot survive without her medication, period. The doctors have probably give them the reality of it. She cannot survive without them. The medication was life-sustaining medication.
Now, and sort of coming to the realization that she is very unlikely to still be alive. We don't know at all what happened here. It is one of the most high-profile possible kidnapping, certainly abduction, it seems like. Very, very mysterious circumstances here. And now she's going to be back on the...
And the mysterious circumstances is what gets us. It's because this is what makes us feel this is inside. Because there's no reason for this. Why would an 84-year-old woman be targeted? Why? It doesn't make any darn sense. It really just doesn't.
Today's show, and everyone's going to grieve differently. Everyone has a different journey, and she certainly talked about that as well. But you have to think that the Today Show is not really a kind of thing. I think a little bit about like if Savannah Guthrie had a podcast where she just talked about her life and maybe she covers the news. That's not this at all. This is like cooking segments and interviewing celebrities. It is going to be obviously be very challenging for her to do it. If she feels that she's up to it, she should absolutely go there with an open door. But I think people are going to be really paying attention because the disappearance, the abduction, whatever that is, absolutely captivated the nation. People from all sorts, people that are not normally interested in these sorts of stories, really felt an emotional attachment here. And now she's going to be right back under the lights there at the Today Show studio in New York. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that goes.
So somebody says she looks good on Today's Show. She's wearing yellow. Yellow's a good color for her. And it's, obviously symbolic of her mom.
So many people are invested in her, and grieving and mourning is difficult under normal circumstances. It's impossible to predict what may or may not trigger her in the moment and just send her, in a state of depression or just sadness. Savannah admits it will be extremely hard while the investigation continues. Let's talk. Let's listen to this.
I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'll belong anymore.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. I know that one of my friends lost her brother, and she was, had that stoic face. She did everything. She was doing everything she could possibly do that was right. And, then when it came to the memorial, the actual everybody getting together after the service, she lost her shit, like literally just lost her shit right there, like just bad, like just, she was just fine. And then it just hit her, it just came out of nowhere. It just finally hit her. And when it hit her, she was like, we literally had to pick her up off the ground. It was hard. It was one of the hardest things that I personally witnessed. It's rough, and you don't know when it's going to happen. And when it happens, it's uncontrollable. She did not mean for it to happen. It just, when it started, that was it.
But I would like to try. I would like to try. And I'm not going to be the same. But maybe it's like that old poem, more beautiful in the broken places.
Steve, it won't be the same, more beautiful in the broken places. Do you think part of her return?
I think everybody's unsafe in that area, if you want my honest truth. I think all of you guys that live in Arizona, specifically in this area, I think you're all unsafe. And if this is the policy for your entire state, that's got to change, folks. You guys can't be this trendy thing where we put law enforcement last. It never works for us. Why? Because they're the only ones that can protect us. Okay? So I don't know what person believes in we don't need law enforcement in this country. I don't know if you've looked around, but we've got a lot of crazy people in this country. Okay, we need a lot of law enforcement. We need a lot of protection. We need a lot of people that are putting these crazy MFers behind bars. Okay, this could be your family right now. Okay, I just want to put that out there. We don't know what this is. Everybody's trying to make it about Savannah. This may have nothing to do with Savannah. This may just be as simple as contract workers driving by this house, seeing a feeble old lady trying to make it out to her driveway, and them coming back later to rob this lady, and she ultimately lost her life. We don't know what we're dealing with here. Yeah, it can be an inside job, but what if it's not? You've got people out there that are seeing soft targets, you, and this could be you. This could be your family. This could be your grandmother. This could be your mom. We need law enforcement here. I don't know about you, and I tell this, and I make it a little satire-y, but it's true. I make sure my law enforcement body here has enough stuff here that if I go missing or need a major investigation, they've got what they need to find me. That's how I kind of look at law enforcement. Maybe I'm a little selfish that way. Maybe I'm just a little selfish that way, and that's okay. I'll be selfish. But when it comes to my law enforcement, I make sure he has the best boats, the best helicopters, hell, whatever my sheriff needs, I fight for him to have it. If he says he needs it, I believe him. I don't see my sheriff going and wasting our taxpayer money just to have this or just to have that. It makes no sense. We have what we have because we need, and we're expanding, and we have more people to take care of. But I'm a little selfish, so I make sure that my sheriff has everything he needs for, God forbid, if I go missing in this community, or God forbid I'm murdered in this community. They have all the tools necessary to quickly put my assailant behind bars. And that's what we should all be striving for our communities, is what happens when it's us. I'm sorry, but I ain't calling the local crackhead, okay? I need to call the sheriff, the 911.
Could be to also help keep national focus on the case.
I think it will, absolutely. The story was everyone was talking about it nonstop for about 30 days, 45 days, and it has obviously fallen off. So we're going on in Iran. Certainly, this will put the focus back on it.
News Nation's tracking all your top stories with another busy week ahead, including a follow-up on what Steve was just talking about. On Monday, Savannah Guthrie rejoins the Today Show after her mother went missing
We're going into the third month. We are in the third month. Just more information. She's joining the Today Show. And then, of course, here's Brian Enton. We love Brian Enton. Yay, Brian Enton. Okay, sorry.
So it's day 62 in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Hard to wrap your mind around.
Right now, we are at day 65, I believe. She went missing on the 1st. So, you could get 66 days because it was so early in that day that they started, noon. But 65 days, if I'm not mistaken, as of today.
It's now been more than 2 months since Nancy literally just disappeared from her bed here in Tucson, Arizona. This is the Bring Her Home banner, by the way. It's outside the TV station here where Savannah Guthrie used to work. There's literally like thousands of people who have signed this banner now. But I wanted to give you guys the latest today. Today is Friday.
If you guys are in this local area, you're a Pima County residents, we need you guys to go down and sign the recall petition, okay? This is a major effort out there right now to recall the sheriff. The sheriff, I don't like beating up on sheriffs without good cause. I think this one has good cause. We need more men like Cash Patel. I agree with you. I like Cash. I like Cash. The mere fact that they have the border right there, not too far away, and everyone that got in unvetted. I know that's what's so concerning. Like, these people don't even know who they're living around. You got to remember, there was 2 million people that came in here and did not register. So we have 2 million people. Like, if you were being offered free food, free housing, free, and you don't sign up, why? Why wouldn't you sign up? Because you have ulterior motives of being in here. We have 2 million of those people in this country right now. That to me is scary. 2 million. So, and that right there, you don't know who's around you. I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable. And then them not recording from their traffic cameras and them turning off your lights. You guys are sitting ducks in Arizona. You guys need I don't care what they tell you. You guys have got to look inside and feel. I feel some type of way when I hear politicians speak. And when my gut's telling me this ain't good, I'm screaming from the rooftops. I'm not going to wait until some lady is ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night before I start screaming from the rooftops. God bless you folks out there in Arizona. I pray for you. I pray that you guys get this stuff worked out. I pray that you have a right to live the way you live. And I know you guys have lived like that for tens of, decades. And I'm sorry that this is knocking on your door, but it's knocking on your door. You can no longer live in darkness anymore. The criminals have robbed you of that, okay? They have robbed you of that. I understand why you guys love that area and how you love the nature and stuff like that, but it's not your fault, and it's not our fault either. You guys were robbed of that because they allowed these creeps to come into our country. And now these creeps, because they're knocking on your door before they get to my door. Like, I have to worry about, we're only like 60 or 90 miles away from Cuba. We get a lot of Cubans here. But Cubans, they're not trying to hunt us down. We don't have a whole lot of people coming in here, hitting Florida from Cuba, ready to take us out and take over the state of Florida. They're happy to be here. They're running from communism, right? They're running from what we're running toward, right? So, it's a little bit different over here, but you guys got all of that coming in from South America. You guys got the Trinidad people and the, all those people coming in, knocking on your door. We don't have that funneling through our south of Florida. We do the narcotics that are coming in, but typically we're not dealing with a whole lot of I mean, we do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not living with my head in the sand, but we do have bad guys come across our shores. But oops, sorry, I'm moving stuff around. Sorry, guys, give me a second. Let me let this thing. I moved something and it didn't like me. It took. It flickered my system. It flickered my stick system. Plus, the border is closed now. The border. We know the border is closed now, but it's not going to make a difference. What did it say? 84-year-old Manuel Mendez found burnt with hands tied 10 minutes from home. Oh, my goodness. Free the 411. They say 84 missing Manuel Mendoza found burnt with hands tied. That's awful. That's awful. Well, you know, Olivia's mom, and not only that, but like even my old boss, she went to Cuba when they opened it back up. And so I got to see, it was like stepping back into, I might actually have the thing, maybe I'll look it up, but it's stepping back into Cuba. It's like going back into the 50s. Like the cars there are like the old cars from the 50s and 60s, you know. It's just the neatest thing in the whole world if you guys have not seen. And they keep those cars running. I don't know how they keep those cars running and in pristine, and some of those are in pristine condition too. Some of those are in pristine condition, but those folks are still in our country. They are 50 million illegals are here. I don't necessarily believe they're all murderers. I believe that we have a good portion that, you know, just like any other group, you got the ones that come over here because they just want a better life and stuff, and they're doing it the wrong way. You know, unfortunately, your first introduction to our country is to break in. That's not going to get, you know, I'm not playing, there's ways to come in, you know, and the problem is it's so expensive to get here that people don't have the money to come. And so they try to break in. That's not how you do it, right? We can't, if we were to go to a store and take food because we can't afford food, where would we go? We would go to jail, okay? I understand people live in all over this world. Unfortunately, we can't control that. We can't control where people are born. We can't control how they're born, where they come from, how they got there. We can't control that. The only thing we can do is keep ourselves safe in this crazy world. And I understand we're kinder people. We have more moral compass than some of our counterparts around the world. We feel for people because we have lives. We don't know what it's like to live in a third world country because we're spoiled rotten because we live here, right? And it's so easy to say, oh, I want to go over there. They're going to give us rights. No place gives you more rights than America. Out of all the idiots that say, I'm moving out of here. I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Canada. Guess where they come back to? Guess where they come back to within 6 months? Raise your hand. All these people that are complaining about America, they're leaving. How many people come back within 6 months? I mean, outside of Rosie O'Donnell. How many people come back after 6 months? Almost every single one of them. Why? Because America's the greatest place on earth to live. That's why we're not breaking out of America to go live in another country. People are breaking out of their countries to come live here. There's a reason. Okay? We live better than the majority of the world. And that's a fact. So we have to remember that. And we have to keep our way of life safe. And if we just give our way of life away, we're giving ourselves away. Okay, this is not in my opinion, a partisan issue. I mean, our American way of life is our American way of life. I mean, no matter what, we're American first, okay? We're American first, and we should be worried about American citizens. That's just my position. And then once we get us worked out, then just like, you know, on the planes, put your mask over your mouth first and then help the person next to you. Until we get ourselves situated here, we're not prepared to help somebody else. And we're not situated here. Our country here is in chaos.
Friday, we had our big story with the source close to the investigation who spoke to us, talked about, you know, how inexperienced the detectives were early on, the fact that they were working on this theory that Nancy walked away, which didn't make any sense. and that there are no suspects. I've reached out to the Pima County Sheriff's Office. I wanted to try to talk to the sheriff again, get his response to some of these things. They are not responding, or at least with a statement, and say the sheriff is not doing any interviews right now.
And I just want to say this about the sheriff and the public information officer, if they're paying attention or anything. This is horrible. I'm going to tell you, when you get jammed up and then you shut people, that just shows cowardice, in my opinion. Yes, for the moment, until it's not, we got to fight for our rights to party. But seriously, I know, right? Betty, in those other countries, they don't have people killing others with guns as often. Yeah, but how much is that being inspired by like MK Ultra type stuff, you know? And I agree with you. There shouldn't be the type of crime that we have here. Why do we have the type of crime here? Because we allow it to go on. Okay? We are entirely listen, in other countries, you lose hands and feet. Choppy, okay? When you steal. You are gay in another country, you're executed. You know, there's a lot of differences here. And the difference, in my opinion, Mike, is I think medication. I think that Big Pharma is entirely too big in America. It is screwing with people's brains. Okay? I think Big Pharma controls a swath of population. All these people that were taking the jab. I mean, we got movie stars just dropping over right now. Movie stars, athletes just dropping dead. Just dropping dead. And they say, oh, well, it's because they had a breathing problem. Or no, it's not. They don't tell you the truth. And these people injected themselves with something that did not go with their body. And yeah, it took a little while, but the effects of it several years later, here you go. Okay? What's going on with the transgender community? They're so warped in the brains because of all these hormone stuff. We don't realize how much of our hormones affect us. So why are we having this chaos here? Big Pharma. That's what I truly believe. I take over-the-counter stuff. I take vitamins. I take Aleve. I don't get into all of this stuff. I'm not, if I have high blood pressure, tell me how to reduce my high blood pressure. If I got cholesterol, tell me how to reduce my cholesterol. I don't want to be on 15 freaking pills. If I don't want to do the work and I choose to take the pill, then that's a choice that I choose to make. But I want options that avoid the medication. Because what ends up happening is you're going to start having heartburn from this medication. Why? Because it's bad for you, right? It's helping this ailment, but it's bad for your lining of your stomach. So what do they have to do? Now they have to give you a Pepcid or some prescription so you can take this medication. So now you have 2 medications or 3 medications just to take one medication. And guess what? You're going to be on that medication for the next 20 to 30 or 40 years. Okay? I don't know what it does to your body. I don't know what it does to your brain. But I know that by far America has more narcotics that is distributed by our doctors than any other country in the world. And I wonder why that is. And then we wonder why we have messed up individuals. Well, maybe it's the prescribed drug dealers, you know, the authorized drug dealers in our country causing this. Just saying. So let's not get it twisted, because they are drug dealers. Big Pharma is the biggest drug dealer the world has. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. Who caused the problems in this country? Who caused a lot of deaths in this country? Big Pharma. That's who. Big Pharma and their pill mills. Why? You don't think that they needed money? You don't think they did it for profit? You're damn right they did it for profit.
I've reached out to the Pima County Sheriff's Office. I wanted to try to talk to the sheriff again, get his response to some of these things. They are not responding, or at least with a statement, and say the sheriff is not doing any interviews right now, although I have seen him do some local news interviews. So we haven't been able to sort of ask him about some of these things that we learned, but everybody's just hoping that, you know, there'll be some kind of resolution soon, some kind of break in the case. Savannah Guthrie is obviously going back to the Today Show on Monday, and in some ways it just feels like life moves on, but it's hard to just wrap your mind around again.
I can tell you my life is not moving on. Would I be back here, you know, if I had If my mom or somebody in my family was missing, would I be back to work? Yeah, I'd be back to work. I'd be back to work very quickly, but it's my job is finding missing people. So I'd be back to work very quickly talking about my mom or my family's case. But at the end of that, am I really employable? No, I'm not. I don't know. I don't, but again, most of the people we deal with have missing children. And having a missing child's much different than having a missing adult parent. Now, we're all prepared for our parents to go before us. I think that, we're saddened by it, but we understand. I think our body, our mind, and our soul understands that we can't have our mommies and daddies around forever. And, we're prepared as a nation and a being to deal with our parents going before us. I think we're all equipped to deal with that. Now, this is a little bit different because obviously her mom wasn't ready to go and was forced out of her own home in such a violent, brutal manner that her mom was taken out of that home. That's a little bit different. That's something that she's got to reconcile the rest of her life, until we find out what happened. She's going to have to even have she's probably going to be blaming herself a lot, unnecessarily blaming herself. But when it comes to children, it's a much different situation, in my opinion. And most of our parents are unemployable after their child disappears and doesn't come home. Yeah, I believe Big Pharma is the biggest drug dealer. Yes, they are. And I believe some of the medication is good, but they, in my opinion, they don't give the public what they need. See, over in other countries, they don't give you all this medication. They change your diet. They make you do things differently. They don't, but other places regulate their food differently than we do here. We allow capitalism. That means that we allow people to put chemicals in our food, which again alters our brain, right? So there's a lot to be had over here. Why is America so violent? It's because we're spoiled rotten. That everybody thinks that they're getting a raw deal. They've been no place else but America. They haven't been to Australia. They haven't been over to Afghanistan. They haven't even been to the UK. They have not seen brutality, right? They are the brutality because they're throwing a temper tantrum because they didn't get their way. That's what we're dealing with here in America, a bunch of big babies. Why? Because that's how we taught them to be. We taught them to be so freaking self-absorbed and oh God, golly, life's not fair. Life's not fair. Do you think it's fair for the children in Iran and Afghanistan? Do you think it's fair? And we got stupid idiots with purple hair and nose rings out there saying, "Oh, we want to protect Iran." Are you freaking kidding me? Anyways, let's not get on my political stance. We'll be here all day because I could just go on for hours and hours and hours. So let's get back to Nancy Guthrie. I think we know where we all pretty much feel politically about this. I don't think there's, how we deal with all this stuff may be different from party line to party line. But at the end of the day, you cannot tell me that America wants crime in their country. Of course they don't. I think this is one thing that we can all be united on. We want good schools, good jobs, safe areas. We want to be able to purchase homes that are affordable. We want to be able to send our kids to decent schools. You cannot tell me that we are not all on board with that. Okay, and if we're all on board with that, then why are we arguing about so much stupid shit? That's my question.
All right, Brian, stay right there. We want to have you stay, and then also joining us to react, Andrew Black, former special agent in charge at the FBI's Tucson office, and Jonathan Gilliam, former FBI special agent and former U.S. Navy SEAL. Brian, sticking with you for just a second, why do you think that this source waited until now to speak out about the investigation? We're 2 months into this, which may not seem like a lot of time, but when someone's missing, even the first few hours are crucial to an investigation. So do you have any context as to why this person's deciding now is the best time to get out in front of the camera?
Yeah, I think frustration, again, that it has hit the 61-day mark and the realization, according to the source, that many of the problems they're having now with the investigation go back to the beginning. You always hear the first 48 hours are the most important, and you've got a supervisor that was in charge in the beginning who literally, according to the source, had never even investigated a homicide before.
Andrew, what about that? You know, of course, people always have their first time to do something, but for a supervisor to be on this case, what I picked...
Let me ask you guys something. This is kind of off note. How many believe the assailant went into the garage? I just want to know. Actually, let's poll this. We've got 378 people. Don't put anything in the chat yet. We're going to poll this. We're going to poll this. Okay, we're going to start a poll. We're starting a poll. Guys, go take the poll. Do you believe the suspect or suspects, plural, one or the other, you know, it doesn't really matter. Do you believe that somebody that shouldn't have been in the house was in the garage? Let's poll the audience. And the reason why is because of this. Let's see if I can go back. Look at this. We've got a broom knocked over, this can knocked over. You know, like, I don't see, I see if Tommaso was walking his mother-in-law into the house, if he saw a can on the ground just rolling, I just see him picking that up because he knows it's a trip hazard for her. If they saw the broom, you know what this looks like? Actually, I'll wait until you guys get done. I want to get 100. We're at 56. Let's go ahead, because I'm going to have another poll after this. Oh, DeBoss, it's nice to see you. Yes, the perp new garage key code. Arizona Raven believes they knew the key code. Well, we're also going to get to that spot where he stepped up without the light. And that right there told me something. And I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to show it to you guys. Where are we on our poll? We're at 67, folks. If you guys have not did the poll, the question for the poll, if you're coming into the chat right now, is do you believe the suspect or suspects went into the garage that night? So please come over here. If you guys are in the chat, we have about almost 400 people in chat right now. It would be great for your comments on this. And it looks like we're about 2/3. So 2/3 of our audience believe that the assailant went into the garage. Hey, Lady for Justice. It's nice to see you. Because you know what? We have those images where we were looking at the ruts, and there was some ruts over there by the garage more than out by the front of the house. I don't think he walked Nancy into the house. FBI could have knocked them over. Yeah, but that doesn't look right. Okay. We didn't quite get our 100, but I think we got our, I don't see, it seems like it stayed right here. So it looks like 2/3. We have about 1/3 of the people that don't believe he went in the garage and about 2/3 of the people that believe he actually went in the garage. So I'm going to pause that poll. And then the next poll is going to be, do you believe the suspect cleaned up? Okay, here's another one. Now, this is a question. Do you believe the suspect or suspects cleaned up after themselves before they left this home? We have over 400 people in chat right now. So come here and let me know what you guys think. So somebody going into the garage, that was about 2/3 of our audience that believed that the assailant went into the garage. Now, the next question is, why would the assailant need to go in the garage? Did he track some shoe impressions in and took that broom that's out of place, kind of sticking out there, and go and clean up and use that to make sure that they didn't leave any tracks anywhere? Is that what happened? You know, I've got questions here. I've got questions. I saw an FBI dude put his ID up to the keypad for the garage and it opened after she disappeared. So they changed it. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. How did they get her down the stairs? They could have picked her up. And I'm not even convinced that she walked. You know, I'm not there totally convinced that she walked. So we also have about 2/3 right now, right about, that believe that there was a cleanup. See, that's what bothers me the most about this. Because, you know, we're trying to determine whether or not this was somebody that was known to this family or not that went in there. But I'm starting to see at least some signs of a cleanup. And it has to do with this photo right here. It's that can. It's that can that's floating around by that garbage can. It's that broom that's out of place that looks like it doesn't belong there. I don't see Nancy putting her broom right there. I see a disturbance in this garage. That's what I'm seeing. I see some type of disturbance in this garage. And that's what's problematic for me. Is why would the assailant need to go out to the garage? Why would the assailant need to have the broom? Why would the assailant need to move these items? Was it to get the garbage can to move Nancy out of the house? You see where I'm going with this? Like something, he may have had booties on. Yeah, I heard that. I did hear somebody say that there's a possibility of that. And maybe that's why we couldn't definitively see those shoelaces. Maybe they were observed, because you can see through those little booties a little bit. They're a little translucent. But I didn't see the blue ones, because it seems like if they had blue ones, you would have been able to see them a little clearer around the shoe. I think they carried her out. Broom wouldn't have been out of place if they cleaned up. I don't know. I just feel, well, we're praying for you. I didn't know anything was going on. Carpeted shoes, like, maybe. I mean, we do feel like there is, you know, this person has some bone structure that could, but we're not sure, because we feel like what we were seeing in that was not a white person. We feel like, and according to some people that came here, it's not a black person either. So we're looking more in the vicinity, in my opinion, of a Hispanic or Persian or somebody of, you know, a darker, but not black, you know, not fair like white, and not black, but somewhere in that range. And the features of the person, the nose, the jaw, the bone structure seems that more in line, in my opinion, with a Hispanic person. But again, you know, it's hard to tell. Are we wrong about that? Some people are saying Iranian, because there was an Iranian that was renting the guest house from Miss Nancy Guthrie several years ago. So, you know, we have questions. Okay, so now you guys understand why I asked that question. Let me go ahead and clear that poll, and it's about 2/3. Just it's a little lighter. Some people believe there's a large portion of our audience right now that currently believes, oh geez, please don't tell me that this is going on again. Oh, okay, I see what happened. Okay, that moved over here by accident. Okay, there we go. It's like wondering why that was giving me a problem. It's because it's on the other page. So this is where we're at right here, and because of these these markers in the garage, and not only that, there was a report that I read. Mixed race, it's possible, but I think the bone structure, even if it's mixed race, I do believe the bone structure probably bodes more with a Hispanic person, even if it's a Hispanic white, Hispanic black, or Hispanic other nationality. I think that the bone structure, the hair, the eyes, I think is more in line with a Hispanic person. But again, that's just my opinion. We don't know. We're looking at a black and white image, and it just sucks because we're talking about skin color on a black and white image. It kind of sounds a little racist over here. I get it, but it is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. Show some grace. That's all I'm saying. Show some grace. But my family, and the reason why I'm going with that, if you guys don't know my story, I have a lot of Hispanics in my family. I have a whole half of my entire family, large portion of my family too, because they don't just have 2 children. Like my cousin's got I don't know, 6 or 7 kids. They might even have 10 at this point. I mean, there's large families, large families. So my cousin that looks more like me, just different complexion, and she's only got 2. But her brother, on the other hand, has a lot of kids. Okay. So I do know the bone structure of Hispanics probably more than any other nationality, and probably why I bowed to that, because I see the resemblance of certain characteristics. So Native American, yeah, but Native American, yeah, I guess it could be, but it's not really the color, it's more of the bone structure. And Native Americans, I guess, yeah, but they have more higher cheekbones. Yeah. Aw, people have loss in here. I'm so sorry. We're talking about another family's loss, and there's people in our channel that has loss. We're sorry for your loss, and God bless you guys that are struggling here. So I believe there's something more here. And it keeps going back to people calling in, because I never felt this was staged until people started bringing up staged. And then we go back to this, and I remember early reports when the FBI, when this was going on, this right here, this is the first time the FBI had come back to the house. So how this all went is that the family called law enforcement. Law enforcement came out. They didn't take this whole thing very seriously at first. They thought she had dementia and walked away, and they had to convince law enforcement, first of all, she doesn't have dementia. She's sharp as a tack, and she has mobility issues. She wouldn't, even if she wanted to walk away, she couldn't physically walk away. And so they had to convince law enforcement, but this was already after they trampled the crime scene. And so then we have the situation of Chris Nano's coming out saying, we have a crime scene. There is a crime scene, right? And then he opens the crime scene back up. They go in there, they process it. We're looking at it. We see Brian Enton going up there. We're like, what kind of crime scene investigation is this? We've got a mat there. We've got foliage there. We've got a ripped off camera there. And all of these things are left behind. And we're just scratching our head saying, they've opened this crime scene and they left all of this trace evidence behind. What in the actual AF, right? And that's kind of where we started realizing something wasn't right with the investigation. And then we realized the FBI wasn't immediately called in. Then we realized he didn't even know it was the Guthrie family. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we know why Mark Kelly was called in, because Savannah's probably scared shitless, right? This is her mom, and she's got this horrible sheriff leading the charge, and they're having to argue, and she's probably calling, look, this dude's an idiot. He keeps thinking my mom walked away. We need help. That's probably why she called Mark Kelly. That's probably exactly why she called Senator Mark Kelly. We need help. My mom is missing, right? So we have the doors being open. We still can't figure out why the doors are open. We have a missing camera. Like, the camera's not even at the house. It's gone. The assailant took that camera with them. Why we don't have GPS affiliated with these cameras, unless we do, I'd like to, I'd like to see. We never know. Did that make and model of that camera pop up on anybody else's Wi-Fi or anybody else's app to attach it or anything like that? I don't know. But what I'm seeing out here is it looks like things were touched out in the garage as well, and it makes you wonder why. This assailant was here for 41 minutes. 41 minutes. How in the world can you keep your subject under control for 41 minutes? That is my problem. I'm mixed Native American. I got high cheekbones too. Yep. So I think that that's it, because this person doesn't seem, I mean, we have this. Let's take this. Let's go back here and let's take this off real quick. Green screen. No, let's take the. So this is kind of what we're looking at. It doesn't look like he has high cheekbones. It looks like his cheekbones are, where they need to be. So this is, and I think this is also why I lean toward more of a Hispanic individual, because this comes from a forensic artist that is used to working with law enforcement on forensic sketches with people faces covered by using certain points. She believes that she knows she's accurate on the eyes. I did watch her. I did watch her explanation of all this, and I do recognize her. I've seen her before. I've seen her many times before. So I know who she is. I know her prior work, and she is very, very good. So she says that she was giving this a try. She doesn't know if this is specific. She knows she's got the eyes accurate. She's a little concerned about the nose, though, but she believes she's got the eyes and the cheeks, and the lips. So we've got the eyes and the lips that are accurate, but there are some mild adjustments. Could those cheeks be further up? I guess they could be. Which might change it a little bit, but for my stuff, I believe that he's going to be most likely Hispanic, maybe Persian, but I think we're going to be looking more along the lines of workers, construction workers there. But again, it comes back to, I still feel like this is ultra personal, and I don't see construction workers. Well, actually, I do see construction workers getting a construction broom and using it, because that would be what they would be accustomed to using. But again, I don't know what we're looking at here. It just, for me, it feels like somebody was in this garage, and it comes back to the next question of why would anybody be in the garage if they are just trying to abduct a lady for ransom? It doesn't make sense. So this, if they did go in this garage, in my opinion, we have a situation of a cleanup. And why would any unknown third-party person that's never had an attachment to this house now go through the process of cleaning it up? It doesn't make sense to me. And if they did, this goes all to the planning. Why would they plan this so specifically, but not plan the actual ransom aspect of it? It doesn't make sense.
To do something, but for a supervisor to be on this case, what I picked up in that interview is when the source says that this was treated as a search and rescue mission, not with any kind of criminality at the beginning, at least. So when you have a supervisor with very limited or no experience, when there's blood on the front steps of this crime scene, seems like there's something missing there.
Yeah, that was fine work by Brian getting the source to come forward and share that information. If what the source is saying is true, that's very concerning. Even Sheriff Nanos admitted that there were missteps early on.
Yeah, he admits that there was missteps early on in the investigation, but now walks all that back, saying, "Oh, they did it perfectly. We did this perfectly." No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And it's his leadership, and it's his failed leadership that took all the good cops and drove them out of this department. And they had no choice but to replace all of those good cops with green cops. And these green cops, I feel bad for them, because they are getting clubbed over the head for being green. They are literally wearing all of this because of Chris Nanos. And that's not fair to those officers. It's just not. It's not fair to the detectives. This is what Chris Nanos has done to this department. Hey, Dan, it's nice to see you, love. The real me too, good morning.
In the investigation, the crime scene was turned over early. Reporters were able to come onto the scene and actually identify the blood droplets and take photographs of that before it.
Real crime scene? Those should never have been left behind. I've seen fire trucks come out and spray the outside of sidewalks, driveways, and everything just to prevent media from being able to capture any of the evidence that they have.
And properly processed. Obviously, on a big case like this, you want someone with experience and who knows how to work this type of case and all the possibilities. You just can't focus on one theory as to what happened to Nancy Guthrie. So that this is very concerning.
Jonathan, you had a theory that you believe Nancy Guthrie was taken within 2 hours of her home, just based on the timing of the reporting of her being missing, where the suspect may have been able to drive within 2 hours. Do you still believe that that is something that could be viable, given we have no real public leads, and according to this source, no real information about a suspect or where she may be?
That's a professional. 2 hours.
Yeah, sure. I think anything's possible, and I think if it was a burglary gone bad, or if the individual...
I don't see them taking a screaming elderly lady 2 hours away. It's just too dangerous for me. I don't see anybody doing this. She would have had to have been incapacitated. And if she was incapacitated, she was most likely deceased. And again, I don't see, I mean, there's very seldom people that have the balls to carry a dead body in a vehicle for that far of a drive. Okay? We have to look at this from both angles, that she was alive and that she was dead. And either one of those angles that you look at just don't have the, in my opinion, the prerequisites for a long, road trip, a 2-hour road trip. Just my opinion.
Was there to assault her, and somehow she got, injured so bad that he'd panicked, or if they were working together, he was working together with somebody else to get her out of there for a purpose of kidnapping, and she got injured. Any of those possibilities, they only had about 2.5 hours before the sun started to come up, and I don't think that most people would want to be out in the open with somebody who, if they knew who she was, somebody who is her daughter's famous. But
so he's basically saying that within 2 hours we would have light, and because of that, they wouldn't have been able to go anywhere other than 2 hours away. I'm kind of understanding what he's saying, but I don't think he's specifically saying 2 hours away. I think he's saying up to 2 hours away because of the daylight aspect. So I'm understanding kind of his argument a little bit better now.
I want to say this, Katie. One of the greatest things I got to do when I was in the FBI was go through the NYPD homicide investigator course. It's a 2-week course that investigators from all over the country come to. And the very first thing they talk about are these issues that you're seeing. Keeping the scene, making sure the scene stays clean. And
so that means that nobody from their department went to this course. Nobody from their department went to this course, or somebody would have said, no, we cannot we've never gone to this course, but we've watched so many crime scenes. We know what's right and we know what's wrong. And we immediately, we just knew that they did not process this crime scene correctly because of these 3 major issues, 4 major issues that we saw right there at the front. 5. The blood. The blood should not have been there. The mat. The foliage. The missing camera bracket was still there, and one thing we missed out of all of that, not one bit of dust, fingerprint dust on any of that. 5 major failures right there at that front door that we all observed. 5 major failures. And if you want to take them not taking the concrete as a 6th, I would go for a 6th, because that concrete should have been cut out. It should have never stayed there. It should have been cut out, it should have been removed, and it should have been taken back to the lab for processing. And they failed to take the concrete. So we have a lot here, okay? We have a lot here. And we have a lot of failures here in the processing. So we know that nobody in their department has been to New York.
And supervising how things are going, and not getting in a rut of this is what we believe happened, letting the evidence lead you. It was an amazing course, and it's incredible how I see all these things going wrong with a sheriff's department that should have really experienced homicide investigators working there.
Yeah, and it just there's a lot of standard practices
where they should have experienced homicide investigators. They do not have experienced homicide investigators. One of the largest the sheriff's department in the south of Arizona does not have seasoned homicide investigators. I just want to make sure that sinks in. Again, There is a recall effort for Chris Nanos. If you guys are in the immediate area, if you're Pima County voters, please get out, go find a location and sign a petition. We need 120 to 135,000 signatures. The people running it believe they should be able to get those signatures. So folks, please get up, get out, and go do your part in recalling the sheriff so you guys can be just a little bit safer here in the near future.
That were completely thrown out the window. You know, Brian, it's so crazy to think back to that exact thing where the crime scene tape was taken down. It was put back up. It was taken down. I believe it was 4 different times. 4 different times. And of course, the sheriff has justified all of that. In this interview with the source, they said that the sheriff has ruined the department. So, of course, Nancy Guthrie has been missing for 2 months. But Tucson is a place that has a lot of crime. And I'm curious what you're hearing about not just the sheriff's department and the deputies and their confidence in their department to be able to search and for other people and to combat crime there, but also what people in the neighborhoods you've been spending time in are thinking.
Yeah, I mean, they're concerned. You know, I think it went from sadness in many ways. You know, there's this big Bring Her Home banner behind me that thousands of people have signed for Nancy Guthrie. And it went from concern now to really frustration. I mean, to think that it has been 61 days and people are upset with the sheriff. I mean, look, there's a recall effort going on. I mean, there's a lot going on here when it comes to the sheriff. I mean, they're trying to literally boot him out of office. The Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to start investigating him.
So, Mike, how this helps, it says, so if everyone is already criticizing the detectives for not having experience, but you fired the sheriff, how's that going to fix anything? It's because they have great sheriffs there. They have great deputies there that have been ostracized because of this sheriff. He puts friends in place. He's cronyism, okay? He installs, his department is ran off of cronyism. That means his friends are installed in those places of support without the experience. So you remove this guy, you remove the inexperienced leaders, you put people that know how to do the job to the forefront. You get better, you bring some of those old retirees back in that are more seasoned, that refuse to work under the leadership of Chris Nanos. You fix a problem very quickly. I can guarantee you if Chris Nanos is out of here within 30 to 60 days, they will have a major, major change in this department that will be for the better. So that's how this, yes, we're going to criticize the detectives because the detectives have gotten us nowhere. CSI has gotten us nowhere, and they all know. I'm not going to try to kowtow. You know, the people that are doing this, you're hearing from law enforcement themselves. They know these things exist. Look at how many law enforcement people Brian Inton has brought forward. They all know that there's problems here. They all know that this was shoddy work. They all are very acutely aware of this, and they know that it's their poor leadership. So we've got plenty of law enforcement coming up to the plate and saying, yes, this is the problem. So we have to listen to them, Mike. Right? We can't just keep acting like this stuff doesn't exist. We've got people that have retired talking about him, his past bosses talking about him, the past sheriff talking about him. You've got failure. He has to be removed. And not only that, the most important is he lied. He lied all the time. And he keeps putting his own people in jeopardy, even by his own driving. He's a piece of shit. He has no reason to be the sheriff. And they are so blessed lucky we chose to stay here in Florida. This sheriff right here wouldn't know how to handle Bullhorn Betty. I would be up his ass. I would be out in front of his sheriff's office. I would be sticking a camera and microphone in every sheriff that walks up to go clock into work. I would be the biggest boil on the ass of this department that they've ever had to deal with in their life. That's how angry I am about this freaking case. They are lucky we have other obligations. That's all I'm saying. Okay? I love people. I love law enforcement, but I can't stand this kind of garbage. I can't stand it.
They are claiming that he lied under oath on a different issue about his disciplinary history at his previous job. So he's really coming under fire from all directions, and it seems this Nancy Guthrie investigation really opened up a can of worms.
Andrew, from a federal perspective, the FBI was involved in this case. Is there salvaging here? Is this a cold case at this point?
No, it's not cold.
Well, there is quite a bit of evidence that the FBI is still going through that I'm aware of. There's mixed DNA evidence that they're trying to get a genealogy match for, right, to develop a suspect. I think the problem initially is this should have been turned over to the FBI initially. They're the leaders in the world in working kidnapping investigations.
Should have been turned over. Sebastian Rogers' case should have been turned over. Summer Wells' case should have been turned over. We should have expiration dates. That means if a law enforcement body can't get the job done, we as the public, we as the parents, we as the victims' families should be able to get that moved up to FBI. We as the public, we should be the ones that be able to request additional resources, not just law enforcement. There has got to be changes in the way we do this because we have too many lousy sheriffs, too many rogue and corrupted judges. We've got a whole freaking mess in this country. And the only way we're going to work through it is being honest with ourselves. Okay? We're not going to be working through this by, sweeping stuff under the rug. We've got problems here in this country that are preventing these cases from moving forward. And the first one is corrupted politicians and corrupted sheriffs. There's a corrupted sheriff in Sumner County. There's a corrupted sheriff in Hawkins County. These are the most notable missing children cases in Tennessee history, and the most recent Tennessee history, both going unsolved, both having sheriffs that have very questionable histories, including Ronnie Lawson and his whole family, and getting his son out of problems for diddling with children, of all things. Because, again, Tennessee does not protect their kids. They protect the culprits, the people that like to diddle with them. That's what the laws in Tennessee do. Your children are not safe if you're a Tennessee resident, okay? The entire state of Tennessee has problems. Most of all of your small counties are corrupted. Most of them, okay? And then let's not even get up to the hierarchy of Tennessee, okay? These cases should have been turned over to the FBI. They're still dangling out there. These officers don't give a shit about these children. They only care about keeping power, and the only way they can keep power is shoveling these cases under the rug and keeping the FBI out of them. I say fire Ronnie Lawson, fire Eric Craddock, and let's start getting these cases solved with Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers. But it's going to take the people of Tennessee doing what's right to get this job done.
It was a golden opportunity for Sheriff Nanos just to say, hey, we've got the help of the FBI. We're going to turn over this investigation to them. We will support them. I know the deputy sheriffs on the ground and the agents work very well together. It was a golden opportunity with all the resources the FBI had. They should have been responsible for the communication at press conference. There were missteps early on with Sheriff Nanos handling the press conference. The FBI is trained on how to message properly.
FBI's trained out to message properly, but Chris Nanos should have never been in front of that mic. His public information officer is the only person that should have approached that mic. That public information officer should have introduced Chris Nanos. Chris Nanos should have only given very clear facts of the case, and then the FBI come in and close the factual basis up. That's the way it's always been, and they failed to do that. Why? Because Chris Nanos wanted to be the star of the show.
And how to work these investigations logically. I think that's where the breakdown has come. And now you've seen this cumulative lack of confidence in the sheriff's ability to function properly.
Jonathan, just real quickly, do you agree with that the FBI should have been taking this case from the beginning?
Absolutely. I mean, especially if they know they don't have the experience there. But,
and what are we going to do about getting, News Nation and Fox News and the Today Show to coordinate and work with law enforcement in Sumner County? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they pushing this for a little boy that his mother most likely murdered him? Why don't we have mainstream media holding the feet to the fire when it comes to our children? I mean, we do have an 84-year-old grandmother, and I understand. She's important, right? She's very well known. But so is Summer Wells' case. So is Sebastian Rogers' case. Fox News, News Nation, Brian Enton, Ashley Banfield. When are you guys, Nancy Grace, when are you guys going to put forth this effort and start condemning Sumner County Sheriff? Or do we just do this only for famous families? I mean, I've got questions here. I really do.
As the days go by and the answers remain few and far between, Nancy Guthrie's family is continuing to hold out hope, rightfully so.
That is blurry.
Savannah Guthrie releasing a heart-wrenching new video yesterday. Take a look.
She may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves.
So, another problem with Chris Nanos. Stopped in 2023 with a loaded gun on his carry-on. A loaded gun on his carry-on. And we're going to be going out with this. The search for Nancy Guthrie enters its 8th week.
During another critical phase, and the clock may be working against investigators. It has been more than 7 weeks since the 84-year-old vanished from her home in the Catalina foothills. It is a stunning but rugged area just outside of Tucson, known for its steep, rocky terrain, washes, desert vegetation, and that's the point. Are we talking about hiding clues? Are we talking about evidence being hidden in plain sight? The search teams have already combed the area using drones and dogs and ground crews, but that landscape may be working against them. You have uneven ground, you have limited access points, large spread out properties. They make it hard to know what's been missed and what hasn't. And now there's a new concern. As we head into spring, summer, those temperatures are going to rise. The desert changes. Heat, wind, wildlife can degrade or move evidence. And while thicker vegetation can make visibility even worse, all of this is happening at this point as the investigation continues with no reports of any suspects, no clear breakthrough, despite DNA testing and video analysis and thousands of tips. Yesterday, crime and cold case investigator Cheryl McCollum visited the area to see for herself what investigators are dealing with. And she joins me now live once again. Cheryl, good to see you. Thanks for taking the time. All right, what are we not seeing? You went to that terrain. What are we not seeing there that maybe a map or drone footage just can't tell us?
Jesse, it is unforgiving. I mean, the plants can cut you. There are rattlesnakes. There are bobcats. There are mountain lions. There are black bears. The ground is so hard. It's like cement. There's just rocks everywhere. And then you've got extreme heat. It was 105 the day I landed. So I just have a whole new respect for what they are trying to accomplish here.
So, as you guys understand, there are so many things, so many elements, so many different layers when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie case. But the most important, and where is it? I've got it somewhere. At least I thought I did. And this is from, I don't know where it is. I just had it. Hold on a second. Let me go back to my emails. And it's her cryptic message that she sent today. That was the most wild. And you know what? Actually, I'll send it to myself. Is this it? No, I've recorded it. Let me just send it to myself. Give me just a second and we'll listen to it. There we go. Give it a second. All right, so it won't let me open it through Google, so give me a second. We're going to have to add it to here so you guys can watch it. Media, there we go. And we'll call it SG. Okay. And then it's going to take just a second. I got to turn the volume on it.
Standing here today, I have to tell you, there are moments in which that promise seems irretrievably far away, when life itself seems far harder than death. These moments.
All right, let's start over again.
I have to tell you, there are moments in which that promise seems irretrievably far away, when life itself seems far harder than death. These moments of deep disappointment with God, the feeling of utter abandonment. For most of us, there will come a time in our life when these feelings hold sway. In my own season of trial, I have wondered. I have questioned whether Jesus really ever experienced this particular wound that I feel. This grievous and uniquely cruel injury of not knowing, of uncertainty and confusion, and answers withheld. In those darkest moments, I have thought, bitterly and perhaps irreverently, that I have stumbled upon a feeling that Jesus did not know.
So, again, another cryptic message from Savannah Guthrie. And I did see that we had, hold on a second. Sorry, I missed some things here. Let me just get these. Let me just go through here. Oh, good gracious, look at all this. So we have Melanie, thank you so much. Let Them 66 been with us for 15 months. Mama gifted a Bullhorn Buddy membership. Lisa, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Lisa says, why did the FBI go into the storage room? What was there? They probably had to investigate it. We don't know where the guy went. I mean, there were doors propped open on the outside of the house. How do we know that the person didn't go inside the storage unit to grab something out of it? I mean, I feel like something is missing from that house that nobody is telling us about. But what? I don't know. I don't know. And then, oh, thank you, love. Thank you. Let Them 66. Thank you, my love. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's kind of where we are. And what does all of this mean? I certainly do not know, but we will be back later today. We're going to be back. What time is it? Is it 8:18? So we're probably going to be back around, I'm probably going to do a show around 3:30. And this show is going to be open to the public. And we're going to open up the phone lines. And I think we're going to talk about this. You know, did Savannah go back to work too early? What does all of this stuff mean that we're seeing? Do you believe the assailant cleaned up after himself? What do you believe those back doors, the flower pots, leaving that exit? Why did they leave that open? We've got just a lot of questions. We've got a lot of questions that need to be answered. And so I hope we get those answers, and I hope it gives you an opportunity to give me some perspective. What do you think? We also have a lot of emails that came in over the while. We haven't done, we've got mail transition on here or segment on here. So we've got one of those that are going to be coming up here in the near future related to this case. But right now, it seems like we're watching Savannah struggle. We're watching Savannah struggle with her faith. And I can only imagine, what it must be like to be so religious and to have something like this happen. And her mom have to go through something like this where her father died, when her mom was 40 or her father was 49 years old, and having to watch her mom go through this very real struggle and do it. And be strong and to really still be in her faith. And this is the walk that Savannah's going to have to walk. Not all of us get this walk, and it's not an easy walk by any stretch of the imagination. But how do you do it? I think that is, do I know what's keeping her going and what's keeping her strong? I do not. I don't know what she's going through. I'm sure it's not easy. It's not a child. It is a parent. But again, it's hard for us, no matter how it is. But this was so wrong. This was so evil. everything that touched this case so far has been wrong. And it's like, you know, what message are we needing to get out of this? You know, this is so public that I feel like there's a message here for the world to see and the world to have. What is the message? I feel like this is a worldly message for all of us. And I don't know what the silver lining of it is. Is it faith? Is it not giving up? Is it, what's the overall? And I can't figure that out. So I'm working on it. And I just wanted to give one more shout out. You guys know that I got an Easter gift from Be Betty fan. And if you know anything about me, it's this cherry butter. Every time she sends me this cherry butter, it does not last. And when I opened it up, I saw another. If you guys have not, this right here is the best stuff I've ever had in my life, right here. This is Wolferman's Bakery cherry butter. And it's a Harry and David brand. I don't know how much this cost, probably an arm and a leg, but I'm telling you, it is the best. It is the best. I've never had a cherry butter before. I've eaten cherries. I love cherries. But I've never had, I'm not a crazy apple butter fan. So when I saw cherry butter, I was like, probably not going to like it. And when I ate it, I fell in love with this stuff. So if you guys have an opportunity to get yourself some cherry butter, I recommend some cherry butter, but I'm probably this is not going to last very long. This never lasts in my house, ever. Ever, ever, ever. And that stuff is so good. Like if I get a sweet tooth, I will literally go and take a scoop of it and just eat a scoop of it. I don't even slather it on bread or nothing. That's how good it is. Thank you, Bella. Yes, we are praying for a miracle. We want a miracle in this case for Miss Nancy Guthrie and her family. But when we talk about this, and I promised you guys we were going to go over this at the end, and I didn't have it pulled up. So let me go ahead and pull it up because I want you guys to see this because it is super important for me to show you. And it's the step. Let me put this back on the main screen. It's the step. I want you guys to watch this. I'm going to have to stop it where I need to stop it. So here's the assailant. He's trying to get the camera off. Trying to rip the camera off. So he's got this. Okay, we're about to come up to it right now. Right there. He's looking backwards. He's looking. Sorry, I'm yelling at the dog. It's that right there. He knew where the step was. He knew where the step was, folks. I want you... Hi, sweet girl. Hi, sweet girl. He knew where the step was. Let's go back. Watch. There is no... Hey! You're in the office now. There is no reason for you to be barking. Watch. He goes down. He steps down. He steps out. He picks that up. He flashed it a couple times. He's turning back and right there. He steps up. While his head is turned backwards, he knew where the step was, folks. That may not mean a lot for a lot of people, but to me, that means this man was around this house more than one time, for me. I keep saying he's a lefty trying to fool everyone with his gun that way. It's possible because he used his left hand to adjust it, but many people believe that it was his right hand that was injured. And that's why he was adjusting it with his left hand because his hand hurt. And then, of course, we ended up realizing that Luke Daly has a injured right hand, which is pretty interesting, to say the least. There are lights back there also that blink off and on. Yes, I agree. All those people that have been living in the pool house. There's something. There might be. I don't think that's a woman. At all. I don't believe that's a woman at all. The mannerism, the movement. There's no breasts on this person. This person looks like they got some Franken beans. I'm not with it being a woman. I mean, I'm a pretty stocky woman. I've been on construction sites with some pretty manly women, and I can tell you that even the manly women walk a lot differently than the men. I really think that people on construction sites need to chime in on this, because not that this person, I do believe this person is a construction worker, but we see the rear ends of people all the time, because you've got painters, drywallers, plumbers crack. You've got electricians, you got a lot of different installation people that have to walk and carry themselves, and the movements of their hands and stuff like that. Not even man boobs, in my opinion. Yeah, they don't even have man boobs. So the step up is prominent. It's, in my opinion, this isn't a woman. But that's just my opinion. We really don't know. There's no right or wrong answers here until somebody does ultimately come forward. We're not going to know. So there is that. For sure, his right knee looks injured. There's probably a few injuries. On this individual. Did Miss Nancy have a ladder or anything? Like, I'd like to know what they've got on these images. They've got images. They've got videos. They've got videos from the cameras around this home. I don't know how many other cameras there were. Is there one? Is there two? Is there 3 additional cameras? How many cameras are in the back of the house? We don't know. But I heard, and I never heard it again, but it was through a source, and it was through a reliable source online, that said that they've got the images. All the images from all the cameras. And it was just a one article, and that was kind of it. They put a plug in that story. But dude not look like a lady. Do look like a lady. Do not look like a lady. Ow. No. Should stop. He shines the light when he comes up right at the step. When he went to grab the foliage, I saw the light, but not when he stepped up. He shines the light to grab the foliage, and then he looks left and steps up. Look. No light. Let's go back. Let's go back to 20. So see, he flashes the light right there, talks to somebody, turns around, and then steps up. Boom. So he did flash the light, but he flashed the light back that way, not for the step. If you look how he knew the step was there. And I didn't notice it before, but he knew the step was there. That there is my problem. He knew the step was there. And you guys can say, oh, well, he came there. He just stepped up and stepped down. It doesn't matter. Do you know how many times, even when I've been working out there, that I forgot a step was there and I tripped? Even just walking down and turning around and stubbed my toe. Now, when I'm on the job, I had steel toe boots, so it stumbled, but it didn't hurt my foot. So I don't release the images that I know, right? Did you know the FBI will not release things unless they have a benefit, unless it's going to benefit them? So I don't know why we are not getting any more released information. I have to listen. This is what I assume. Whenever we stop getting information from the sources, from law enforcement, then they've got enough to work with. That's the way I look at it. Because if they didn't have enough to work with, they would be out here still trying to acquire some information. We hear nothing. We hear crickets. This is what we're hearing from law enforcement. FBI hasn't given us an update. Pima County hasn't given us an update. Actually, Pima County Sheriff is trying to hide under a rock right now and trying to let this all blow over. He's not even doing a damn thing. As a matter of fact, every time we talked to the sheriff or heard from the sheriff, he didn't know what the hell was going on anyways. So there is that. El Dog, it's nice to see you. With the articulation of his leg, looks like he may have been wearing some type of leg brace. Interesting. Potentially has a leg problem. But I can tell you the way he cocks his foot is the way I cock my foot when I'm taking out wire, because wire comes on a roll. And so it has a habit, you know, when they put it on the roll, it makes it springy when you try to take it off. So there's a way you can roll it out, and the way you step on the wire as you're rolling it out to flatten it out so you can pull it into the, pull it through the trusses and other things. There's a specific way you can roll out and you have to, when you're rolling it out, you got to cock your feet out and step and step and step on the wire and step and step, and you have to cock your foot just like that. So again, when it comes to electrical work, I've done electrical work for 20 years, right? You guys are probably saying, no, you haven't. My dad was a master electrician back when I was raised. They took us to work, okay? So when I was 2 years old, I was riding my dad's work truck, okay? And no, when I was 2 years old, no, I did not have a car seat. I survived, okay? I survived. I also rode on the top of my dad's truck as he drove down the road on the ladder. I was in the ladder. It was like my little car seat, right? Getting in between the ladder things, and I sit down. I had to sit on my butt, and he would drive me down. You know, the things that we did back then would probably get my parents in jail right now, and I don't care, and I talk about them. Why? Because I think the world's uptight, and it's entirely too uptight, okay? People are going to, you know what I've noticed? No matter what we do, people still die. We can take all the fun out of our lives. We can quit having fun with our children. We can put ourselves in a home and never walk out of a home. And guess what? People still die every single day. That's what I found out. No matter what we do as a country, people still die. No matter how many laws that we put in place, people still die. So in my world, I kind of believe that we need to live. You know, live a little. But everybody wants to regulate everything and take fun out of everything. So whenever you go into the grave, you're going to be so bored that you're ready to rock and roll at your good riddance party, you know? So at the end of the day, no matter what we do, with every life, there is a death. And that's just the reality of this thing we call world, okay? So how do you play your life? That dash between the date you were born and the date you were dead and died, that is your life. That dash, that short little dash, that is everything that is to be said about you, that dash. So make your dash worth something. I'm trying to make my dash worth something. Make your dash worth something. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. I just want to say that this person, the more I see this person's behavior, the more I feel like this person not only has been at this house, but knows this house. I've said that from the beginning. I felt like this guy worked too well in the dark for him not to have done this before. So I feel like this is somebody that works around people and goes back and robs them later. That's what I feel. If this person is not related to the family and was not hired, then I believe that this person or persons were at this house for a legitimate purpose and then decides to go back later to rob them. And therefore, I think if we find a history, we might find a history of several houses being robbed in different areas of Arizona, and probably from a same crew that happens to be working in these areas. But I don't know. I feel like they have a day job. I feel like they have a Monday through Friday job, only allowing them to rob people on the nights and weekends, and mostly just weekends. So who is this person? I don't know, but I guarantee he has a job. I guarantee he has a family, and I'm pretty confident he probably has some kids. So there is a woman that knows that her man was not home on the 11th and knows that her man was not home on the 1st and has sat there and kept quiet. What, for the sake of your children? Do you want your children to be a murderer freak too, or do you just like your children hanging around them? I just want to ask the woman that's hiding this man or men, why? Because when we find out who he is, we're going to find out who you are. Do you really want to be that person? Do you really want your children to have to deal with people like me? Wouldn't you rather be on the right side of this instead of waiting until all hell breaks loose? Because I can guarantee you, lady, when we find out it's your husband, I'm probably going to be on the outside of your home. And I don't care if you have children. Because somebody's most likely dead. Your children are not. Your children can get up and thrive and go to school. I hope somebody starts doing the right thing, because the people that are choosing not to do the right thing out there, I'm just letting you know, you're stopping the inevitable. And the longer it takes for you to open your pie hole, the more angry we get. And that means the longer we're probably going to stay out there. And then next thing you know, every time you go into the public, people are taking photos of you, sharing them all over social media, talking about you, talking about your children, talking about your family. Do you really want that for yourself? Do you really want that for yourself, especially when you could be walking away from this piece of shit with $1.2 million and give the life that your children deserve? You're going to be that woman? You're going to be that woman, huh? Mommy, you're going to be that mommy, huh? Well, I can tell you there's a lot of people in my chat that obviously are better women, better mommies than you. Do the right thing, because we will find you once your husband or boyfriend's uncovered. And we're going to know that you lied. We're going to know that you hid. We're going to know that you participated. We're going to know. And that's going to be a lifelong sentence, whether you go to jail or not. Just remember that. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. God bless each and every one of you. We will be back soon this afternoon, about 2:30, between, I think probably 3:30 is when we'll kick off. We'll have other talking points, and we'll be pulling up the phones in the phone system and letting you guys call in and see what you guys think. If you guys have a message to the assailant or his family, let's start talking to the assailant and the family as well. So we'll be opening up those phone lines this afternoon. So be there or be square. God bless you. We'll see you soon.